Hello there guys, my name is Josh. This is my game idea. It's called Zombie Horde, but it's mostly just a working title, so we could call it pretty much anything on the planet. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it. Alright, so it's actually based off of the game Defend Your Castle. It's like an old, terrible Newgrounds Flash kind of game. Alright, so the gist of the game is you have a mall on one side. Ignore that. You have a mall on one side of the screen. There's a bunch of zombies coming towards you. You play as some guy on top of the mall with a gun who's shooting at the zombies as they come to attack him. You're trying to survive overnight. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there you go. So the game runs from the time the sun goes down until the time the sun comes up. So you've got the timer running. All the zombies come on, you just tap them to kill them. There's no aiming involved, there's nothing like that. It's just, they come on, if you tap them, the guy shoots them. So what I like about the idea is that it's really simple. There's barely any animation or programming involved. All you need for programming is that the zombies are going to walk, which is just one standard set of code where they just keep going in a straight line. The player clicking it, it's just a simple bit of code for actually destroying an enemy. And then just something to indicate whether or not you win or you lose, and something tracking the time that takes place. In terms of animation, all you really need is the zombies moving, the zombies dying, the zombies attacking you, and maybe the player shooting them, if you want to go that far with it. But the reason I kind of liked this idea is because it's something really basic, but you can add in as much as you want. So let's say we managed to finish all of that, and there's still some time left over, you could add in other enemy types, you could add in other types of attacks you could use, like your guy could maybe throw a grenade or something and blow up a bunch of them. You could add in upgrades to the castle. The original game, the Defend Your Castle one, you would purchase upgrades to the castle, and you could also purchase little guys who would shoot for you. So it's something that starts off real simple, but it could be expanded as much as you'd like into something more complex if we have time. And it's also just kind of a cool idea, because we can make it really cartoony, we can make it very serious. It sort of depends what direction the art team wants to go with how everything looks. So I thought it was something that could potentially appeal to anybody. But that's pretty much my idea. So if you like it, it's something we can build. Thanks.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Pay attention, guys.
The newest game that I have pitched is called Robo Blender. Next. In a brief description, a lone farmer sleeps in a wooden cabin, but suddenly a lone farmer hears a spaceship crashing. When he gets outside, he spots a spaceship in an impact crater and finds a robot named Zozie. But after he gets back asleep, he heard another sound, but this time there are evil robots coming. But it appears that the main character, Zozie, is a spinner robot, and he's going to defend the barn. Next. The theme of this game is both action, the cartoon shooter, and FPS. Next. The gameplay consists of a fortified barn within the farm field. A game's camera view acts as an aerial shot, like an airplane shot, but the shot has to focus on the character himself. And the controller of the game is very simple, much like the iPad or original game controller. You use the arrow keys up, down, left, and right. And when you hit the space bar, you spin the blades to knock out the enemy robots. Once you kill an enemy, you will receive a health pack and the points. But sometimes when you kill different robots, you get a special bonus or a special weapon. To fire off the special weapon, you have to press F to do it. You have to defeat the wave of enemies to protect the barn until they're defeated. And that's the main objective of that game. Next. Because the feasibility, I got it wrong because someone helped me to talk like what's feasibility, but they told me what's the difference, so I get confused on this one. Next. What makes your game more interesting and different? The game will have a interesting 2D effect, such as wind and explosion. with creating a 2D animation with either Adobe Flash or other softwares. The character will be created with the hand drawn, just like the traditional art, and then scanned into computer and animated. Therefore, animation will be very realistic like normal games on Flash games in internet. And the game will include the sound effects from the sound effect library that will make the game more thrilling. Next, here are the reference materials, such as a Monster Cake by UAB, Aplava for iOS, and Man vs. Machines by Glue Games Inc. for iOS, which is no longer supported by the company. Next, here are all the sketches I made for the game pitch. So if you want to take a look, feel free, whatever you want. Any questions?
So well, technically it's called Color Sync, but it's a work in progress. What it is like a small, I want it to be published on the iPhone, iOS platform, but not to be susceptible to change. So what it is a small, portable puzzle game with that relies on quick hand-eye precision. It's based on, well, I guess you could say it's based on puzzle and shooting at the same time, but anyway, I'll show you what it looks like next. Yeah. So here is a mock of what the game is. So as you can see here on the left side, you have this color wheel which you can choose a bunch of different colors of, and you have a time limit, and you have to match each corresponding floating bubble that moves in a really random pattern with the one that you've selected right here. The closer you are to picking this purple, with matching your purple with this purple means the more points you get. Now obviously this can all be customizable. It could be, this color wheel could be on the right side, and this screen could be moving on the left side as well. It could be like enemies and bonuses and all sorts of stuff and all sorts of things as well. So next. Okay, yeah, so gameplay options, this will probably be single player, co-op, multiplayer, and local is going to be a bit difficult to program. I'm not sure, maybe it is programmable, I don't know. Leaderboards, that could be an option as well, but most people are using now these days just a screenshot their phone and post it on Instagram or something. And the really great, unique thing about this is that you can customize it as much as you want. If you can go back again. Yeah, you can customize like how fast these bubbles are moving, the rate at which they are, the rate at which the good gift drops will happen. You can increase the time rate, how big the bubbles are. So there's a bunch of different options to tinker with. And yeah, so next. You go back. Okay, go forward. Now go forward. So the feasibility of this, personally, I think this can be done because it involves very minimal programming. There's not a lot of animation when it comes to like movement and characters, just a bunch of bubbles moving around. The only difficult part would be because I want, personally speaking, I want that background to be really abstract and moving at the same time, and yeah, another difficult part would be like the amount of customization you can do, save presets, and yeah, the hardest would probably be the way in which the balloons and circles would move at different random patterns. Next. That's it. That's a mock-up of what it should look like.
It's called Rock, Paper, Space Shooter. Okay. Yeah, next page. You're a space pirate and you found treasure chest, or a treasure chart looking for treasure, basically. And it's basically a side-scrolling shooter.
Oh, cool.
That's a game. I didn't do that.
That's greedy.
I did that actually. And it's inspired by Ikaruga. If you guys have heard of that. Yeah. Okay. Next slide. So the basic game mechanic is there's a red, blue, green sort of cycle. If you can go press next real quick. Red, blue, green. And if you go again, red would be your shooting, your ammo. Blue would be your fuel. And green would be your shield. So the thing is, oh, next. Yeah. Each one has a sort of gauge to it. You're red, you have a certain amount of ammo. But what you need is you need to destroy ships with your ammo. And by destroying ships, oh not yet.
Sorry.
You destroy it, and out comes some blue bullets, which refuel your ship. But the thing is, to refuel your ship, and you use fuel to go through the level because it's constantly depleting as the time passes. But you need to use your blue fuel to power your green shield, which absorbs the enemy bullets, which you use for ammo. I don't know if that makes sense. Does it?
It's kind of like a cycle.
Yeah, basically. So you destroy a ship to get fuel. You need fuel to power your shield. Next. So the thing is, do you shoot and save your ammo to go to the end of the level because you need to beat a boss, or do you save your shields, or do you destroy a ship because you need fuel to continue on to the level?
I assume you can't do both at the same time.
No. Well, I mean, you got to figure out a good balance between destroying or not destroying, basically. Yeah. I guess that's it. Next.
Let's try reloading.
Okay, whatever. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I left it really vague. I don't have a visual style yet, but it should just ship design, UI, doing UI, basic moving of ships and enemies, and developing a visual style. Next. I just want the ships to look like boats. Just keep going. I have a lot of these. Yeah. Content. Because it's not really level based, you guys don't have to worry about level design, so that helps with feasibility a little bit. Because all you're really focusing on is making cool enemy types, figuring out where they're going to be on the level and when they're going to show up. And I want the levels to be really quick, like 1 minute at the minimum, and 7 minutes for like really, really long levels. And really all you have to figure out is, do you give them enough resources to actually beat the level? Like, is there enough ships to actually get to the end? And stuff like that. Yeah. Programming, I have nothing about programming, so I don't know. All I want is like parallax scrolling, if you know what that means. There's a foreground, a middle ground, and a background sort of thing. Enemy behavior, that's really dependent on content and know how complicated the enemies are. And next. Oh yeah, collaboration. I guess there's a little bit about you can do with art and content. Like maybe there's a level where in the foreground it's messing with the middle ground, so like asteroids are blocking your view from enemies, so you can't see that. Or art and programming, where again with art, I'm an artist, so I know a lot of stuff. For a lot of art stuff, like maybe enemies go in the foreground and the background to like show you how the game or how enemies will act. Yeah. Oh, just some extra stuff. I kind of want it to be really quick and really addicting. Respawn times are instantaneous. There's no game over screen, so when you lose at a level, you just go straight to the beginning. With the 1 minute or 1 minute to 5 minute time limit, it should be really addicting, hopefully. And there's a checkpoint system, but we don't have to get into that. Next. And next. That's all.
So my game is The Last Stand. Next. Okay, so the basic idea is you're the last warrior on the battlefield. You're an archer, and you're getting surrounded by enemies. And what you have to do is survive as long as possible. Next. So it's a top-down shooter, so I'm thinking like asteroids with arrows, basically. Kind of maybe a mix of Towerfall in there. You played that. Next. Okay, so basically what you're going to be doing is you have your archer here in the middle. You're going to be dodging, catching, and shooting. And so you have all of your enemies around you, and I'm thinking that you have like a catch button or something like that. So if you get close enough to the arrow and you're fast enough, you can press the catch button and you catch it, and that will put it into your inventory basically, allowing you to shoot back. Because you don't really start off with like an infinite amount of arrows. And then I was thinking you could have like other enemies besides just the archers surrounding you. Like maybe there's ones that run towards you and try to chop your head off or something like that. And
Can you move?
Yeah, like asteroids, you'd be able to move around the screen a little bit. I don't know how complicated that would be programming-wise, but okay, next. So feasibility, yeah, I base it on asteroids. It seemed like a pretty simple game to me, and I want the levels to be pretty contained. So unlike asteroids, where I think you can move off screen, like kind of all over the place, you're pretty much surrounded by all the enemies, and so you can add a lot of detail with that, I think. Yeah. So, and then also you could. I was thinking maybe. Okay, next actually. So. Yeah, so I left it pretty open-ended. I didn't want to put too much detail into it because I want all of us to kind of make it up ourselves, working together. But I was thinking the game will be simple, fun, and easy to pick up, and it has a couple extra elements in there, like offensive and defensive, that will make it a little bit more fun than maybe, well, I don't know, more fun than asteroids, but a little bit different. So yeah. Next, I think that's it. Yeah, okay. So that's it.
And just like asteroids, you have like a momentum kind of mechanic to it?
I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking where you just kind of run around.
Just move and stuff?
Yeah.
Just move and stuff, basically?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yes?
What do you think about like some sort of like melee combat too? Like if you get close, maybe stab an enemy or something with a dagger.
Yeah, that would be fun too, and like we could add some animations there too. That would be cool. Yeah. Yes.
Is it for a phone?
I don't know. I was thinking more like computer, but yeah.
It sounds like it's a game that you could pretty easily take over to tablet. And that's the nice thing about Unity, which is probably what we're going to be building in, is that you can pretty easily transport things over to iOS or Android or whatever Windows is doing.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of a game where somebody can hide also, like to protect themselves, or just
Yeah.
an empty field?
Yeah, I was thinking that, yeah, we could maybe put in some pillars or like a building or something, and that would add some more like strategic value.
Right.
Yeah.
Hide in the pile of dead bodies.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you very much, and it's going to be Jill next.
It's Gail, and my game is called Youre It, and that's a working title. I don't know why I put it as that. And it's pretty much like a 2D platformer genre, like I guess post-apocalypse. Alright, so the basic story is pretty much children overthrow the adults, and you are playing as one of the defense squad, so it's your job to capture and send back all of the remaining adults, especially school staff, to pretty much trial, whatever. And those two on the side are pretty much inspirations, like Children of the Corn, but obviously toned down. And if you've played that game, Danganronpa, kind of, like all the kids are crazy and trying to kill you. And gameplay summary, it's basically a 2D side-scroller. Steadicam, I guess, like it just follows you. And pretty much it's just like Robot Unicorn Attack. You jump over platforms, over pits, and you're trying to, instead of like killing stars, you're just running after adults, and you just collect them for points. And pretty much like game over triggers. You miss the platform, you hit the platform like on the edge, or you miss the adults. Like it's gonna be just, you're traveling in a line, so if you miss an adult, like you can get a game over from that. Yeah. So this is like the feasibility art. You guys remember this? We don't have to do that. So it's gonna be like for art, like probably profile perspective. There's only like 4 characters. The main character and 3 NPCs. You can add more later if we have time, and also depending like what happens later. Content, it's like a simple story. It's pretty easy to expand on, in my opinion. I think it's really fun because I like playing with the idea of people going crazy and just post-apocalypse in general. And like, yeah, I was thinking like character bios, like in the beginning, before the game starts, I was thinking about like a dialogue scene to like debrief you. Like someone tells you like all your controls, your mission, and everything. And you can probably like make up a character bio for like, all the characters that are supposed to be in that scene and for some of the adults you're capturing. Programming, like simple controls, if we're doing computer, hotkeys, if it's for phones or whatever, just like Robot Unicorn, like what was it, tap or whatever, just you get rid of the dash feature. And like the pre-game dialogue scene, like I have a little example right there, it's just a little dialogue box, some characters put everywhere. Obviously, probably not going to do talk sprites, but if we have time. And yeah.